Hello and welcome to the Barnes Auto Detailing channel. I have a variety of things I want to cover on this channel, and it's not all going to be detailing related. Some of them are just going to be generically automotive, industry news, car scene related stuff. But tonight the main thing I want to cover is scams that target detailing and automotive businesses. I just want to go over a couple that I've run into in the short time that I've been in the business and kind of explain them to you so that if you run into these, you're going to know what to do and how to handle them. So to start off, anybody that's been in any kind of a jobber type contracting sort of job, not just detailers, but a lot of us have dealt with this first type of scam. The first one I want to talk about is the text message scam. It usually involves some kind of a check payment. And the way this scam works is someone will hit you up with a job. It's usually going to be a big job. They'll cut you a check for the total bill. They'll write the check for more than the amount that you agreed upon, and then there's some kind of way that they want you to go about getting that money back to them. It's either paying their driver or paying for a contractor that's doing work at their house to go out and buy materials with the money that they paid you. This is a cashier's check, but it's a fake cashier's check, and it usually takes a couple of days for the bank to catch this. So what will happen is you cash the check, and then you pay them the difference, and then you're going to be liable for the money that was withdrawn. They'll take that out of your account if you have it, or they'll just come after you with money that you owe them. So a quick couple of text messages that I've gotten pretty frequently, and you start to see these over and over and over again. They go something like this. I have 3 parentheses, 2018, Range Rover Evoque, gray colors, and 2 parentheses, 2018, Chevy Tahoe, white color, all 3 seats, 3-row seats, SUVs models. And I want both interior and exterior detail done, including leather seats cleaned, tire shine, coating, paint correction, underbody wash. Can you handle the job? I need full detailed and full interior and exterior car detailing service, including stains removed. I want full service wash plus tire blazed, leather seats cleaned, dressed, hot wax, repel, clear coat, triple polish, wheel bright, heated drying. Can you do that? What? What even is some of these things? And that's kind of what you're going to see. And just another quick example, I won't read this one, but just look at the way that they list these. I've never seen 1.2016, 2.2019, 3.2021. Nobody formats their text messages like this. So what you're going to see over and over again with these text message style scams is bad punctuation, random capital letters, big jobs, new clients you've never dealt with. They're going to do that a la carte kind of listing off of services that normally most people just assume you do with a detail. Maybe one person will ask if you clean leather seats or shampoo the carpet, just to be sure, but you normally don't get them rambling off services like that. You'll also see a couple of names, and I mean, here's just a couple of listed names I've seen reused multiple times: Charles Johnson, Anthony Walton, Andre Rene, Edward Paul, Braxton Hobbs. Now, granted, they're going to use all kinds of names. These are just names I've seen multiple times. And moving quickly into the next scam, because it's very much related, I'm going to actually open my Google My Business profile for you to see. And here we go. In Google My Business messages, I already went through this, and I made sure that I don't have any client information here. So all of these are actually scammers. Not a single one of these is a real person, and that's kind of what I saw over and over again with Google Messages. Most of the people that message you, it's going to be that same check. See that there's the text message I just read to you. This was somebody pitching me for fake Google reviews. To Anthony Walton, are you available for car detailing service? You know, and you'll notice a lot of these I respond back calling them a scammer, and it's actually because of the way Google evaluates your performance. They evaluate how quickly you respond to these people. So if you have a scammer and you just report him, it actually tracks that you did not respond to them. So I actually had to get in the habit of just calling them a scammer, so I responded to them, so it shows that I'm still responsive, and then I can report them or block them. So it's not that Google Messages is a scam. And going back this, I did have to delete 2 clients, and they were the most recent messages I've gotten that were actual real people who did book with me, and I did do jobs for them. But the vast majority of everything that came through on Google Messages was a scam. I think I had a couple other people that did price shopping, and I did not do work for them. But I believe I had a couple that just asked for a quote and never got back to me. But that's to give you an idea about that. Another very common scam that we see in the detailing industry, and I'm sure many others, are the different types of people wanting to do your Google ads or help you with your Google My Business profile. So these people want to do it for you. And this company here, I think I already had that pulled up. This company here had a really good article detailing one lady's story who's a small business owner. She has remote administrative support in New Jersey is her business. And I'm just going to try to abbreviate this, but I still have a big chunk of it to read. So a web listing company from Florida contacted her out of the blue. Her name is Ivana, by the way. How timely, she thought. They offered to put her Google My Business page and maintain it long term for a flat fee of $300. Not being familiar with Google services and thinking this was a standard price, Ivana agreed to pay the fee. After sending them the relevant information about her business to include in her listing, the company notified Ivana that she would be receiving a postcard from Google in the mail with a 5-digit verification code which was necessary to activate her Google My Business page. However, they emphasized, do not attempt to enter the code yourself. Only a representative can enter the code. Any attempts to log in and enter the code yourself may cause additional delays to your listing's verification process. Wanting to activate her listing as soon as possible, Ivana gladly sent them the code. Now, that is true. Google sends you a code when you set up your My Business profile. Never give that code to anybody. If you hire someone to do that for you, which I don't recommend, it's very simple. Get on YouTube. It's very easy to learn. But if you give somebody that code, you're going to have the worst time trying to get your access back to your business. And that's what happens here. Nearly 3 weeks later, the company finally informed her via email her listing had been successfully published. However, they failed to explain how Ivana could access her Google My Business page in order to make needed changes. They kept dodging her requests for assistance. It's like pulling teeth to even hear from them again after I paid, Ivana says. The web listing company then referred her to a third-party senior marketing analyst who would continue optimizing her Google My Business listing and online presence. This analyst called me 30 minutes before our scheduled conversation to ask me if I would be by my computer because he'd send me a link to have me shadow his computer. He assured me it's only me being able to see his screen, not the other way around, Ivana explains. She was quoted an upfront flat rate of $800 for the analyst to improve her Google search ranking, and then $200 per month after that for ongoing SEO, which is search engine optimization, services. The analyst later said that he replaced her top 5 keywords with those getting the biggest hits in her industry, but days later, Ivana still had difficulty searching for her own website. When Ivana looked into her inbox later that day after their appointment, she could no longer find the email with the original screen share invitation. The rest of their communications had been via phone calls only. There was no traceable paper trail of their interaction. She also realized that the analyst never actually revealed the company he works for, and his callback number is non-existent on TruePeopleSearch.com. He kept calling her multiple times over the next few days, but she didn't answer. She knew something wasn't right. So yeah, this is basically what happened to her. They're extorting her for money with basically holding her Google My Listing page in their possession. She can't get that back from them, and then of course she's sending them hundreds of dollars to do nothing. This is very typical with a lot of these companies that are just out of the blue, nobody companies. They're very eager to do your Google Ads or Google My Business. I will say there's a pretty steep learning curve to Google Ads. This is also something you can solve by just YouTubing videos of people who are willing to explain it to you. And interestingly enough, if I go back here, Google actually does have reps, real reps. And like here's an example of an email I got from a Google rep, and I blacked out his information here, but you'll see the signature of his email. You'll see he has an @google.com domain name. And I did a training call with this Google rep. He was overseas, but he was definitely a real Google rep. I never gave him passwords. I never gave him access to my account. I shared my screen with him, and he walked me through setting up an ad campaign. And the whole point for them with that call was actually to encourage me to just up the amount of money that I was spending on that ad campaign within my own account. I never paid him. This was a free consultation call. But 9 times out of 10, if anybody calls you and says anything about your Google My Business page or Google Ads, they most likely do not work for Google. If they can't send you an email that looks like this from @google.com, not @google.this, that, something or another, however else they'll try to amend that domain name, it's not a real person, or I mean, it's not a real company, and they're going to scam you. So just keep that in mind. I don't recommend letting anybody have access to either one of these. If you hire a marketer, make sure there's somebody in town that you can go meet with face to face if you choose to. Take a look at their portfolio of work, see who they've done business for, get some references. These are simple questions they should be able to answer. If they can't give you references, they're not really credible marketers. So that kind of leads into the next one, which is SEO, and it's pretty much the same kind of deal of the story I just read you earlier with Ivana. SEO is all about writing your website a particular way so that if someone goes in and Googles a question that your business solves, you should have articles or paragraphs on your website that make Google decide your page is the best answer to that question that somebody is asking. So search engine optimization is the science of how to write these articles, how to answer questions your clients might have in such a way that the AI reads your website and thinks this is the best option to offer them up. So the more you do this, the higher you rank on Google. SEO is not cheap. I looked at one company that was in town. I, of course, didn't end up going with them. I think their price was something like $1,200 a month. But you will get a flood of emails from people offering you to do SEO, and you will often see very, very poorly worded emails, very poorly formatted emails. Again, bad English, bad grammar, and you have to remind yourself, if they can't structure a simple email to you to pitch you on their services, you don't want to let them near your website. You don't need that kind of image out there. You don't need somebody that's not fluent in the language of where you're doing business, designing your website, because again, the AI is going to read the paragraphs, and if there's a lot of spelling mistakes or errors or punctuation or grammar mistakes, it's not gonna list you as high. So that's something you have to consider if you're gonna hire someone to do SEO. A good website designer in general is gonna do that. And again, in my mind, you should be able to pay a website designer a flat rate to get your site up, and maybe if you want a nominal rate for support of that website if you need continuous support. But a lot of these SEO only companies are going to want $1,000 to $1,200 a month to work on your site you've already built. So I would just really be careful with SEO. I don't really know anybody that I could recommend that, again, look for places that have a brick and mortar office, somewhere you could go and meet with them face to face, and that's huge. The people that are going to contact you online, the vast majority of them are scammers. So it's just something I would avoid. The next one I want to cover is kind of unique, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different businesses that are going to do something like this. So I'm just going to start with pulling up their Instagram page, and it's a company called Benchcraft. I was contacted by them personally not long after I started this business, and their whole pitch is they're going to offer you ads either like on a scorecard or on a course guide, or in this case, like you can see right here, a bench that would be on a golf course. They're offering you sponsorships with these golf courses. Now, I had a good conversation with the guy who called me up on the phone. He's stateside. He spoke well. He was a conversationalist. He was nice and easy to talk to. Seemed very professional. The one thing that saved me, that struck me as very odd, was he was offering me a sponsorship at a golf course not far from where I live, and I just kept noticing that I think he was saying the name of the golf course wrong. And that was a pretty key detail to me, because my thought is, if you're in marketing and if you're selling ads for your client, I would think you would want to get your client's name right. And thankfully that stopped me, because I can just remember sitting there with my credit card in hand, about to commit and about to order these ads. And I was like, you know what? Hold on 1 second and let me call you back. And I did about 5 minutes of research and ran from it. And I never talked to them again. I never committed. And thank God I did, because if we go over here to, give me 1 second here. I'm going to close this out and I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to go to their Better Business Bureau page. Oops. That's interesting. I had just had this up not long ago. Let's see if I can. All right, there we go. Oops, I don't want to file a complaint. I want to see their complaints. This business profile is being updated. Now, this was interesting. The last time I tried to record this particular podcast, this was still up. So it's kind of interesting that their profile's already being updated now. But let me just sum up for you a lot of what their complaints were. It was a lot of people complaining, hey, I paid for these ads. There's no proof of work. They keep sending me bills. They keep bothering me. And this kind of went on and on and on and on. And they're not an accredited business, but I can tell you the last time I looked at this page, they had an A+ rating. I will say, and comment down below if you'd like to see this video, but I could probably do an entire video on just the Better Business Bureau alone. Because their brand has kind of gotten into reputation management. And that's about all I'm going to say there. But I mean, you can see a pattern of a lot of companies like Benchcraft and a lot of other companies that they know they have a bad model, and they know they're just out there like sharks trying to drive sales, and they're not actually about delivering a product or a service. These companies are always very, very good about staying on top of all of these complaints that go into a website like this. So they will do everything they can. And you see this kind of narcissism with companies like this, because everything is good as long as you're an idiot paying them money. And the moment you wake up to the fact that they're scamming you and you start going after them, filing complaints with the Better Business Bureau or any other kind of company, they're going to have this just bipolar flip where they're going to start saying, oh, well, this person's a terrible client. You know, we've tried to contact them multiple times. They're not returning our calls. They refuse to follow our procedure, and that's why we're not able to deliver the services promised for them. You will watch them flip it and turn it back on you if you get involved with a company like this. And I'm sorry I can't show you that on their site. This literally pulled up the last 2 days in a row. So it's really kind of odd that right after I tried to stream this twice, that this page is down. But I did save a clip, so let me go back to this. I did save a clip of one of their Glassdoor reviews of a former employee that worked for them out of Woburn, Massachusetts. And let me just read you the column from Glassdoor. These guys will have you cold calling about 150 to 200 small businesses off of a sketchy lead system, and no training at all. The first day I worked there, they gave me a desk and told me to start making some calls. After you get the customer on the phone, they say if the customer asks for the price, just to transfer them to the manager in office for him to close the deal. That was their way of training you. Not to mention every other call, the customer would not be interested because they have already been contacted by other reps in different offices, or they have tried the ads already and got scammed by the company. Most of the businesses turned me down before I could even pitch because they knew it was benchcraft and wanted to stay far away from them. I started working there the week after Christmas, and there were no owners around to get them on the phone. Second week, they fired me because I only sold 2 ads in the span of 8 days, and I didn't meet their expectations. Also, in the 8 days there were 4 people that got fired or quit. They just filter people in and out without even giving them the chance to prove themselves. Terrible company to work for. Wouldn't even recommend this job to my worst enemy. A joke of a company, and I have no idea how they've been in business for 40 years. And let me point that out too, because if I go back to if I still have it open, I don't think I do. Give me 1 second. If I go back to their Instagram page, I'm just about to roll 1,600 followers on Instagram. And this is a company who right down here says they've been in business since 1982, and they're in marketing. Ads and marketing is what they do. They have 798 followers. I put together this podcast prep about a year ago, and a year ago they had 680 followers according to my notes when I originally made this. Yeah, it's a dead business model to do this kind of cold calling. Honestly, too, I saw a lot of the reviews where people were saying if you called the particular golf course that they were trying to sell you ads for, a lot of them would tell them, we're not doing business with them. They don't make our scorecards. They don't do our ads. We're not selling you ads. Don't do it. So yeah, this is something to be on the look for because they are still in business as far as I know, and I'm sure there's other companies that use this same scam model. So the next one is something us detailers definitely see, and I'm sure there's different forms of this for other businesses too, but it's basically those marketing agencies that say they can send you 20, 30 leads a month of these high-paying ceramic coating jobs. And again, when I made this prep about a year ago, one company stood out as possibly the best-looking one of all of them. If there was one that was maybe legit, I'd kind of written this prep thinking this company was maybe legit, and it was called Shop Accelerator. And as you can see here, when I pulled the bookmark into Notion, it gave a preview. Learn how automotive shop owners across the world are successfully scaling their business with Shop Accelerator. So if we go to their website, it's already down less than a year later. So this fly-by-night company is gone, and I still get spam emails on a daily basis, and they usually start with, is this the best place for me to ask you a question? Either in Instagram, Facebook DMs, or in an email. So it's to the point to where if you need to email me and your subject line is, can I ask you a question? I'm probably deleting it before I even read it, because that's usually the opening pitch of a lot of these scams. That one in particular, I can remember someone actually trying to hire me on to be like a district manager or whatever, and I never went with it because their pitch was something like, you can work as many hours as you want and make all this money and blah blah blah. So 4 hours a week, 80 hours a week, whatever you want. And whenever you hear that, that's usually a bad sign. But there's nobody out there that can get all these leads for ceramic coating jobs or PPF or tint jobs that's not in the business themselves. And if they can get these leads, why don't they have that business? That's what you have to ask yourself if you see that particular pitch. Another one, and I did admittedly fall victim to this one, is it's the Yellow Pages, oddly enough. And you're thinking, well, that's a real book. I can remember standing on one as a kid to get the cookies from the pantry. But particularly, it's this postcard they'll send you. And I remember the one I got looking slightly different. But basically what'll happen when you start your business is they'll find you and they'll send you this postcard, and they'll basically say, and let me show you the other one because that one was kind of a better example. It was closer to the one that I received. So unfortunately my head is in the way, so give me 1 second. All right. So if you look here, what this is it comes pre-filled out. This guy actually said that it came signed with his name printed already. It was part of this guy's claim on this particular website. But down here was where he made a note that they found his business, but they put intentionally the wrong phone number. Because what they're basically doing, and the way I remember mine said, we found you and we're listing you, and you can buy premium ads if you want, but the listing is free. I don't remember it looking, like an invoice like this one does. I think the one I saw was more like this, that said, this is not a bill. But I do remember my phone number being wrong. In my case, my business is my cell phone, and they had the house phone number. So that was something I needed to correct. And so list with changes would get checked, you'd fill it out, and you'd send it off. But I remember not giving them any credit card information because the way the one I received said, we're listing you, and it's free. And you can pay for ads if you want, but the ads are optional. But the fine print down here, and let me read the other one because that one was actually a better quality. The fine print reads like the following: this is a solicitation for the order of goods or services, or both, and not a bill, invoice, or statement of the account due. You are under no obligation to make any payments on the account of this offer unless you accept this offer. And that's in bold. And the rest of the fine print reads, and I'm sorry, you're probably not going to be able to read it on this screen, but the rest of the fine print reads, we are not affiliated with your local phone company, and the directory is not distributed to all local telephone subscribers. If you advertise in your local phone company's Yellow Pages and accept this offer, this directory listing will be in addition to your existing Yellow Pages advertisement. This is a nationwide business Yellow Pages listing solicitation. A listing and in this particular case, I was dealing with a different company, but this one is www.yellowpagesunited.com, and will be included in each Yellow Pages listing of $396. See terms on reverse, and I'm not going to read you the rest of it because it goes on and on and on. I don't remember seeing any of that again. Mine kind of looked more like this one. So, but again, what happens is you send this off and you've now accepted their services. So let me move my camera back over here. You send it off and you've now accepted their services, and then you start getting bills. And I don't remember how I must have called them and told them, hey, I'm not paying for this and this isn't what I agreed to. And they must have dropped it. I do remember getting 2 more bills, but according to the rest of these reports, if you send this off at all and you don't call them and cancel, or you don't do something, go after them, report them, they'll send you straight to collections, and that's their entire business model. And I'll go to their Better Business Bureau listing just to see if this is gone now too. Okay, good. Because this one actually had, and this is going back to October 17th. Of 2017, BBB mailed a letter to U.S. Yellow Pages with concerns regarding a pattern of consumer complaints. According to information in BBB files, small businesses and organizations around the country have contacted the BBB regarding complaints concerning billing contracts for unauthorized purchases for directory advertisement listings. Customers that dispute the transaction report that they are provided with an order form via mail that is deceptively disguised as a business update form. And the response they received was, U.S. Yellow has extended great effort to assure that our solicitation format is clear and unambiguous and cannot be reasonably construed as a business update for. A business update for? It actually says for and not form. Anyway, or an invoice. At the top of the document, in large font and all capital letters, the solicitation clearly states this is a listing order form, in order to make it absolutely clear that the purpose of this form is to order a service. Our listing order form has been scrutinized by numerous attorneys general around the United States. The United States Postal Service has also found that the listing order form meets all of the Postal Service's statutory and regulatory requirements. U.S. Yellow has been in the Yellow Page publishing business. I think I remember them saying they don't publish a book somewhere on their site, but anyway, for almost 20 years, and provides a legitimate bullshit resource to many happy clients. We regret that some customers do not take the time to read the solicitation, but we are confident that the solicitation is fair, clear, unambiguous, and is not deceptive in any way. Although we do understand there are a small percentage of businesses that place their order by mistake. When requested, US Yellow agrees to cancel the order if we are contacted and advised of the error. And then it's, should you have any other questions, you can call 1-800-FUCK-YOU-PAY-ME. Yeah, so, and here's complaints, debt collectors, yeah. Debt collectors, and then here's a lot of people just disputing over and over and over again that, hey, like, they're harassing me, this is not what I signed up for. A lot of people kind of said the same thing I said. So, hey, nothing on this said. In fact, I remember mine saying, we will list you for free. And you can pay for ads. That's normally how the Yellow Pages worked. So that pretty much sums up for that scam. And I will say that this P.O. box I do remember because this was the particular one that I had dealt with. So yeah, you can see US Yellow. This is their very poor website. Let's see, what if I find pizza in New York City, what do I find? Yeah. Oh, funny. Their website's broken. Surprise, surprise. But you see, they use the Yellow Pages logo. And I never really realized this at the time. This is probably why all of our Yellow Pages as a kid said the real Yellow Pages. Not being a business owner in the 90s, I didn't really think that this was a thing to fake. But anyway, moving on to the next scam. The next scam the next category of scams kind of plays off of what I was already talking about, and it basically comes when you LLC your business. You're creating a public record. The registered owner of the company's name and contact information is usually attached with the business, and that's where the spamming and the scams begins. So one I can remember getting quite often is there's two particular scams you'll see. One is the OSHA and Department of Labor posters. And let me just see if I can pull up OSHA. I wish I had done this before the stream, but excuse me. Yeah, so even the Better Business Bureau, going back to them, has an article on this saying don't pay for the free labor law posters. And that's the point. These companies will will send you a postcard usually, and they'll give you this whole threatening, oh yeah, I received a letter stating I must pay $79.25 document fee for posters to be compliant with the law. And if you employ people, yes, you have to have these posters, but the Department of Labor will give you them for free. You don't have to pay for them. So what you pay these companies to do is you pay an absurd markup for them to send you the same poster that you can get for free. But the letters sound threatening, and they try to make it seem, they try to scare small business owners that don't know any better into paying a markup on a free poster. And then the next one is kind of along those same lines. I'm not really going to have any resource for this one, but I was getting the same thing on annual reports. And if you use a company to file for your LLC, like LegalZoom or some other example, normally they will go ahead and enter you in to the marketing system for... Oh, great. Looks like YouTube may have dropped me. Are we still on? I'm getting an error on my side. Give me something in chat if you can still see me. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm getting an error on my side, so I'm glad to see that I'm still live. All right, anyway. returning to this. So where was I? Annual reports. Yeah. So annual report was a very interesting one. And when I filed for my LLC, it goes ahead and enters me into marketing for companies that are going to run this kind of scam. And the annual report in my state, North Carolina, basically consists of going on to the North Carolina Secretary of State's website and paying a $200 fee and reconfirming all of my information as far as this is my name, this is, yes, I'm the owner of the business, this is my email, this is my address, nothing's changed, blah, 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 here's $200. And the whole process takes about 10 minutes to do. And the letters you receive are correct in that not filing this report in most states can result in your LLC being dissolved. So it is a big deal. But these companies will then offer to file an annual report for you for $300 or $400. And you got to think, for 10 minutes of work, they're going to mark up $100 or $200 to do something that you can do yourself in 10 minutes. And then also, you're trusting that they do this because you could basically pay them their markup or twice the fee to do the report in the first place, and then they don't file the report or they file it incorrectly and you still lose your business. So that one's huge. That one probably has the biggest risk to you as a business owner. The rest of these are money. And there's a lot of successful businesses that can tell you about working with a bad SEO agent or a bad marketer or someone that tried to steal their Google My Business or do their ads poorly and just dumping hundreds or thousands of dollars and staying in business. But if your LLC gets dissolved, that's a big deal. So that is one, figure out what you have to do in your state. Again, it's a website for me in North Carolina. It's 10 minutes. I've done it 2 years in a row now. It's $200 fee paid directly to the North Carolina Secretary of State office, and I'm done. And last but not least is Instagram scams. I don't really have anything on Instagram to show you, but a lot of you are going to be very, very familiar with some of this stuff. Graphic designers are very hit or miss. I'll just go ahead and tell you that I paid an Instagram graphic designer for this logo. It was $50. It wasn't that bad. AI wasn't as big as it is now, so please don't judge me for that. But I'm actually really happy with this logo, and I liked the guy's work. It's the barrage of all of the other Instagram graphic designers that just keep hitting you up. It's like every day there's a graphic designer following me and then immediately DMing me, asking me to, let him design a logo or something. So, I put it under the category of scams because most of them are overseas and you usually have to pay them up front. So there is the chance of somebody disappearing on you and you don't have a lot of recourse if that happens. But you can also get some good work from them. So, be careful. It's probably not the best way to get a logo, but it's an option. And there's definitely people out there that I'm sure got stiffed. The next two are actual scams. The crypto gurus. If you're not in crypto space and you're not in investing, I wouldn't even let these people follow you. When I see entrepreneur in somebody's title on Instagram and there's a picture of them in a Lamborghini and they're holding a wad of cash, and then it's like, I'm just this, benevolent rich person that's just out here to help everybody else get money and get rich, like, something's wrong. And honestly, too, it's always a good sign that when your friend starts posting pictures of their bank account and it says $65,000 is their balance, you pretty good indication their account's been hacked. And so for that reason, I don't let these crypto gurus even follow my account. I'm removing them as followers. They're not going to engage with your posts. They're not worth having on there at all. And then the next thing, talking about engagement, is going to be all of these, regardless of whatever platform you're on, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, anyone that's trying to sell you likes or follows, you'll get, you can buy followers and they will give you the number of followers you paid for, but they're all fake accounts. They're all bot accounts. And I can recall when I first started getting into the marketing aspect of Instagram, one of the content creators who made content about creating content said, if you buy fake followers, the algorithm looks at the number of followers you have versus the amount of engagement your posts gets. So if you have 1 million followers and you have like 2 likes on your posts, it's going to know that your content sucks. And so it actually said having followers that don't engage with your content like that is actually bad for your account's growth. It's also a violation of their terms of service, and I'm not a big rules guy, but it's digital and it's trackable, and it's pretty easy to find this pattern of fake followers and bots. So I usually try to delete every bot that even finds me if it's clear that their profile is fake. It's not gonna engage with my content, and I don't care. That's pretty much all of the scams that I had to get into, and it looks like we're running at 40 minutes now. So I just want anybody that sees this just to be aware of some of what's out there. By no means have I covered all of the scams that are out there. So if you've run into something that I haven't covered that's particularly detailing related, or even if you're not in the detailing business, if you've run into some kind of a generic scam that's going to, go after business owners of all types, put that in the comments. I'd be glad to look into it. Again, if you want me to get into two things I can cover right off the bat, bridging off of this, is the Better Business Bureau and Yelp. If you'd like to see either one of those, comment Yelp or Better Business Bureau or both in the comments to let me know that you want to see a video on those. But beyond that, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Some of the videos I have planned in the future, it's not very likely that there are going to be actual sponsors on this channel. So if you don't like it, I'm not going to keep doing it. But thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.